Send him to the grave.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for taking the time to watch Hello Good Game, the best Magic the Gathering Arena channel for beginners and free-to-play individuals alike. However, today we're playing way on the other spectrum of that. We are as far away from budget as we could possibly get, playing the #1 ranked deck in Mythic right now, May 2020 season, coming to you from which it is Azorius Control for traditional standard, meaning best of 3. As always, we're going to take a look at the deck list, talk about the deck's strategy and synergies, and then get into our gameplay footage today where we give some examples of the different plays that you can get into within the meta. After that, we're going to come full circle with our closing thoughts. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you're notified of all of our future uploads. Getting right into it, we have Yorion Sky Nomad as our commander. A lot of people are really annoyed with this card, but I've actually personally just started playing with it today, and well, I see why they don't like it, but having played just a few matches with it, I think this deck is amazing, and this card in particular really ties everything together. Yorion is a 4/5 with flying. It's a companion, which means your deck has to follow a deck building rule. In this case, your starting deck contains at least 20 cards more than the minimum deck size. That's a lot. When Yorion enters the battlefield, exile any number of other non-land permanents you own and control. Return those cards to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. So it's a universal bounce or flicker for anything that you want on your side of the field that you own, which is pretty neat. Moving on to our 2-drops though. We start out with 2 copies of Glass Casket. An artifact, when Glass Casket enters the battlefield, exile target creature and opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or less until Glass Casket leaves the battlefield. Ortha Maltese times 3. This is an enchantment saga, meaning it has 3 phases, and at the beginning of each upkeep, a new phase will trigger until the 3rd phase triggers, in which case it will be sacrificed. So phase 1, when you play it, search your library for a basic plains card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. Phase 2, so the turn after that upkeep, create a 0/4 colorless wall artifact creature token with Defender, and then finally, on the 3rd phase, you gain 2 life, and then you sacrifice it. Omen of the Sea times 4, it has flash. When Omen of the Sea enters the battlefield, scry 2, then draw a card. We can pay 3 at any point after it's on the battlefield to sacrifice it, and scry 2. 2 copies of Dovin's Veto, an instant. This spell cannot be countered. Counter target non-creature spell. Moving on to our 3-drops, we have Brazen Borrower, a 3/1 with flash and flying. Brazen Borrower can only block other creatures with flying. It has Petty Theft as an adventure tag to it. It is an instant, which is nice. Return target non-land permanent and opponent controls to its owner's hand. A single copy of Banishing Light, an enchantment. When Banishing Light enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until Banishing Light leaves the battlefield. Omen of Sun times 2, another enchantment, this one with flash. When Omen of the Sun enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens and you gain 2 life. The same as Omen of the Sea, we can pay 3 to sacrifice it to gain a scry 2 effect, which is really nice. Mystical Dispute times 4, an instant costing 3, like our 3-drops here. However, this spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets another blue spell, which is quite nice, especially in the current meta. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. 3 copies of Narset, Potter of Veils, a legendary planeswalker coming into the field with 5 loyalty. A static ability of each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. This effect still burns me to date. -2. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-creature, non-land card from among them, put it into your hand, and then the rest go on to the bottom of your library in a random order. 4 copies of Teferi Time Raveler, another legendary planeswalker coming in with 4 loyalty tokens. Each opponent can't cast spells, each opponent can cast spells only anytime they could cast a sorcery. So no instances on your turn from your opponent, nothing on the stack from your opponent as well. So he's got to play a very basic game against you when Teferi's on the field. +1, until your next turn, you may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash, which allows you to cast just exactly what it says, your sorcery spells on your opponent's turn. That's great. And then -3, return up to 1 target artifact, creature, or enchantment to its owner's hand, and you draw a card, which is pretty groovy. 4 absorbs an instant, counter target spell, you gain 3 life. That's awesome in the aggro meta. Moving on to our 4-drops, 4 copies of Shatter the Sky. Each player who controls a creature with power 4 or greater draws a card, and then destroy all creatures. So that's an awesome sorcery card there. 3 copies of Chemist's Insight, an instant with Jumpstart, which means you can cast it from exile or your graveyard, I guess once you've already cast it. So to do this, you just have to discard a card from your hand to do that. So that's great. So first you play it, you draw 2 cards, then it's in your graveyard. You can play it with its Jumpstart ability. Once you do, it goes from your graveyard into exile. You have to discard a card from your hand, and then you can draw the 2 cards again for 4. So it's pretty cool, especially in a deck of 80 cards, right? It's just going to help you cycle through and get to those special cards that you need, like Elspeth Conquers Death. Another enchantment saga. This one's good, though. First phase, exile target permanent and opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or greater. Phase 2, non-creature spells your opponent cast cost 2 more to cast until your next turn. Phase 3, return target creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put a 1/1 counter or a loyalty counter on it, depending on if it's a creature or a planeswalker. Moving on to our 6 drops, we have 1 copy of Dream Trawler, Flying Lifelink 3/5. Whenever you draw a card, Dream Trawler gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Whenever Dream Trawler attacks, draw a card. Discard a card, Dream Trawler gains hexproof until end of turn, and tap it. There are some notes here I'd like to take with Dream Trawler and Elspeth Conquers Death if you're unfamiliar. Through the discard ability and Elspeth's return from graveyard ability, I'm sure you guys can figure it out. But before we get there, let's talk about Shark Typhoon. This is another 6-cost enchantment. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. We can also cycle it for 2 + X. Whenever you cycle Shark Typhoon, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying. The thing about this that's really nice is that you can cycle even when your opponent has a Teferi on the field. So your opponent plays a Teferi, you cycle your Shark Typhoon, he plays his Teferi, he minuses his Teferi, you play your Shark Typhoon, you attack, and you kill Teferi. So he is the Teferi Eater, which is nice. These spells are accompanied by 3 Castle Ardent Vales, pay 5, create a 1/1 white human creature token, 6 Plains, 2 Castle Vantresses, pay 5, scry 2, 9 Islands, 4 Hallowed Fountains, and 4 Temple of Enlightenments. Enters tapped, scry 1. Fable Passages, enters tapped unless you control 4 lands, and then it will come in untapped, and you can search your library for a basic land. Field of Ruin ×1. You can pay 2, tap it, sacrifice it, and then each player sacrifices a non-land they control, or target non-land they control. So you can destroy your opponent's castles this way, right? That's really nice. Again, I don't really touch on those too much. We also have a sideboard that we're going to switch to and take a look at because we are playing best of 3. It consists of 2 more Glass Caskets, 4 Aether Gust, choose target spell or permanent that's red or green. Its owners put it on the bottom of their library, which is nice. Top or bottom of their library, I should say. Tail's End, counter target, activated ability, triggered ability, or legendary spell, Dovin's Veto. This spell can't be countered. We already have 2 of those, so just 2 more of those. And we have 2 Omens, so 2 more of those. And then 3 Archon of Sun's Grace, a 4-drop, 3/4 with flying and lifelink. Pegasus creatures you control have lifelink. Constellation, whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, create a 2/2 white Pegasus creature token with flying. So yeah, as far as the sideboard guide goes, take out what's bad and put in what's good. Obviously, if it's a creature deck, you want more Glass Caskets. If it's a non-creature deck, you want more Dovin Vetoes, right? The same goes with Omen of the Sun. And Aether Gust is a color-dependent card, so it's pretty easy to figure out if it's an aggro deck, Archon of Sun's Grace. So just basic subs for this deck, and it is very, very powerful. So with that all being said, out of the way, you guys are familiar with the deck list. You know what cards are in the deck. Let's talk about the deck strategy, right? This is a control deck, so there is a lot to it. I always use the analogy of an aggro deck being like an autopilot plane. You walk into the cockpit, there's one button, you slam it, you fly up, you land, good to go, right? Then you get like a mid-range deck, something that's a little more complex. It's got some ramp to it. This plane, there's some levers that you push before the button and then it takes you there, right? Maybe mid-flight, you got to do a couple tasks. Then you get into a control deck. It's like a fighter jet. You get into the cockpit, there's thousands of buttons and levers. You don't know what anything is. It's easier to crash the plane yourself than it is to get shot down by another plane. So it just comes down to player error and avoiding said player error or pilot error and flying this fighter jet as efficiently as you can with all of its unique little buttons. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the strategy, you guys. There's not really any ramp in the deck. There is a consistency card of the Birth of Maltese, making sure that we have that Plains card. So as far as draw hand goes, 3 land is almost a requirement for me. And honestly, if you have a Shatter the Sky, keep it, just because the majority of the meta is aggro. If you don't, I like to see things like Brazen Borrower to make sure that we can survive until we get a Shatter the Sky. And then, of course, Teferis and Narsets are our go-to. So that's kind of what my ideal draw hand looks like. We can mix and match and try to tune that in. Obviously, we're not going to get all of those cards in our draw hand all the time. But if you have 1 or 2 of those 5, then you're going to be okay, right? So, survive. That's the first thing. You probably are going to need to survive until you get about 4, 5, 6 mana out. And then you're just going to want to draw the correct cards while still surviving and now beginning to gain control. So we do have hard counters, which is really nice. And a lot of our spells are instances. So the majority of the play work you'll do will be on your opponent's turn. Brazen Borrower's Petty Theft, for example. Omen of the Sun's Flash. Dovin's Veto. Omen of the Sea. Chemist's Insight. A lot of this you play on your opponent's turn. The Shark Typhoon Cycling. There's not too much that you play on your turn, and the things you do are pretty cheap. So Glass Casket is if he's got creatures out that you need to deal with. Bertha Maltese, we just get this right out of the way because we can't counter for 2 anyways, unless he's playing another Azorius deck, in which case we might want to hold up our Mystical Dispute. You're going to have to determine what deck your opponent is playing before you decide what strategy to take. If they're another control deck, you don't need to push into Shatter. You can take your time and just play the counter game and make sure you contain control. Do not let their Teferi hit the field. Try to not let their Narset hit the field. And that's going to be how you win those games. If it's an aggro or mid-range deck, you want to hit the Shatters, you wipe them, and then you gain control after that. So that's the basic 2 strategies that I play anyways. And then, like I said, you're holding on, you're trying to survive. If he's a control deck, things like Omen of the Sun become very powerful, so you can get that chip damage in. The Shark Typhoon as well to get rid of his Teferi. Absorbs are great either way. We talked about Narset and Teferi. Don't minus your Teferi right away like we used to, especially if they're playing Omen of the Forge, because that could quite literally burn you and be unfortunate there. We can flash our Borrowers in for tempo attacks if we feel we can get the aggro kill in, and really push Shark Typhoon in as early as you can. This card will make so many sharks for you guys, it's ridiculous. It's going to be quite literally a Shark Typhoon, LOL. The only thing is Gemraiser can get it in the Mutate deck, so if you're playing Mutate, maybe just cycle the card, because playing 6 mana to immediately have it removed sucks. Unless you have a counterspell ready, that is, so he can't mutate. Elspeth Conquers Death is great, because on phase 3, return target creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If we don't have anything in our graveyard, and we have a Dream Trawler out, we can activate Dream Trawler's discard a card on our end step, and then we can play, say, our Teferi or our Narset, put that into the graveyard, and then Elspeth Conquers Death is going to bring it back for us. So that's a nice little trick there. There's not too many creatures in the deck, or planeswalkers. It's just Brazen Borrower and your Narset Teferi that you could get. So it's pretty minimal. We could also snag Yorion if he's there already, but we won't be discarding him from our hand because he's the companion. So I think that is all of the unique little synergies and interactions that I can think of. Don't forget to use your Castle Vantress to scry 2 and stack your Omens. So when Yorion comes in, it bounces everything and you can bring it back. Bounce your Planeswalkers so they come in with new loyalty. If your opponent has untapped mana, do not bounce your Teferi, because then you will open up the ability for him to use instant spells on you, and you don't want that. So if he has open mana, don't bounce Teferi. Definitely bounce your Omens. That's going to be where all the jelly is in these donuts, right, you guys? And then, of course, bounce your Narset back up to 5 always. So that's the deck strategy. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything like that, please join the Discord and feel free to comment below. I'm live on Twitch every single morning, 6 a.m. PST. I appreciate your company. You can support us there. You can also support us on YouTube. I have daily uploads. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon and then join the join button with the memberships below the video. And then, of course, the Patreon link is in the description below. If you got no budget for supporting your favorite creators, I really recommend you just, or I plead, I don't recommend, I pray that you play my playlist while you sleep, while you're out shopping, working, in the yard, doing work, whatever. so I can get a little bit of ad revenue that way, because that's going to help me expand and create better content for you guys. So enough of that. Let's get into today's gameplay footage. Again, I thank you all for your continued time, support, attention, all of those things, you guys. You're amazing. You're becoming my new extended family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're going to enjoy today's gameplay footage. We go best of 3 with traditional ranked and the #1 Mythic deck from May 2020 in Magic the Gathering Arena, by which, link to the deck list in the description below. Who knew Witch was such a banging ranked player, beating out Croakies, the magical players ahead of him. Anyways, you guys, that's too much. I'm rambling. Enjoy today's video, and make sure to watch it to the end to catch my final thoughts. Thanks again, and now let's get into it. This would be cooler with more lands. I have had the worst trouble with land today. Keeping 6 and tossing our lights. I really like working into Shark Typhoon. And the Banishing Light is situational. Starting out with our Fabled Passage, nice and slow. It's Obosh minus red, so just black probably. I don't know why I said that. Yeah. Some days, you guys. Most days, actually, in all honesty. We're stacking blue as a primary target, even though it should be white for our Shadow of the Sky. Like I said, this is fine, though. We'll make use of it, and I'm sure we'll pull an island. Sorry, not an island. This is what I mean. I need to just, like, play in a mirror. You know what I mean? Do the exact opposite and say the exact opposite of what I'm thinking. So it's like, lame. Doesn't really do anything. I guess it doesn't really matter. Let's just push him up and make sure we can draw our secondary planes, right? Yeah, and not looking to really pay any life against an Obosh deck, so that can come in chillfully. And then, ooh. I don't really mind this, actually. Why is Ashiok in an Obosh deck? So he can mill me. I got like a ton of cards for him to mill. Not worried about it. It's the Obosh I'm concerned with. Right, if we can play our Shark Typhoon, that's going to be great. As long as there's no ECDs in the graveyard there, that's going to be great. Any Planeswalkers too, we'd like to keep those out. So we're going to kill its Ashiok with our Borrower. One, two, three, four, five. No, we're one short still. Let's just keep pace, even though it doesn't really matter. And snip this in the butt. Ending our turn. I really like playing the Shark Typhoon and then just making sharks. It's the easiest way to win. Right? Control decks can go far too long. Alright, just is main phasing the Sorcery Spark Harvest. Totes my goats, my broats. Let's get our Shark Typhoon out. Now when we play our Chemist's Insight, we're going to draw 2 cards and create a 4/4 Shark. We have Shatter the Sky to clean up if he floods us. If we draw planes, that is, still. Riding off that initial mistake of throwing away that planes. He needs to kill the Shark Typhoon. Okay, so that's totally fine. Should we just wipe it? We slay our own shark as well, which sucks, but it's okay. We get the draw because our shark was a power of 4, which is nice at least, right? Another Ashiok, dirty dog. This is okay though. Ooh. This guy's bringing heat. A unique mono black Awash deck, that's for sure. We're down to 53, he's at 46, still got a ways to go.
Let's slow this down.
Double down on our sharks. We're getting the oppressive planeswalkers in play.
Thoughtfulness before action.
Just take a hard counter for later. Ashok's dead next turn. Unless he double dips on our sharks. Looks like he wants to kill our Narset, maybe. He's thinking about it. We have our Yorion to play as well, so we can minus Narset, play our Yorion, bounce both planeswalkers back to full value. We can play our Omen first as well, so Omen, Yorion, balance the Omen plus the planeswalkers. That should be alright. Shark Typhoon is just as good as ECD in my opinion. It's the broken enchantment of this set. Okay, slaying Teferi. Reasonable, right? And then he mills it from my grave. Or my, yeah, gets it back into exile from my graveyard.
My mind needs a rest.
Land's cool, let's take a draw.
Keep an open mind.
One, two, three, yeah. We might have to play it out a little slower than we normally would, but it'll work. I don't think we played a land this turn, did we? No, we did. Yeah. So that leaves us with 4. I don't know if we just want to bounce this, right? It's pretty minimal. We're not really getting too much value. But again, losing our Narset's not the end of the day, and it will take his mana if that's the play that he wants to make, so that's fine. This is actually okay for us. Right, we get our Death Touch counter. Ashiok. We can absorb, right? He's been really riding off that. Let's make our shark, why not? And then we'll play our Omen. More sharks, right? It's just too much. Three Omens of the Sea is deadly. Oof. Oof.
I have reached my limit.
Think he's gonna like this play? What a finish. Just getting swarmed by sharks, right?
If you wish to surrender now, I understand.
All I want is ECDs. Actually, we don't have a graveyard, so it doesn't really do too much for us. I like it, though. It's my favorite card. Makes a big 5/5 shark, too. This is still a match somehow. Nice. Just going in way too hard. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What else can we do?
Meditate and prepare.
Send him to the grave.
GG's. How are we gonna sideboard against mono black? I don't know necessarily, because he could remove our creatures, so I don't really want to play Archon. It's kind of like a blended deck. Right, he's got Ashiok Sparked Harvest, but he was also running Obosh, right? Okay, so we made some simple sideboard actions. We did win pretty easily. He's got creature presence, so we dropped our tokens. Opponent goes first. It could be worse, right? We have early plays, both offensive and defensive. Knight of the Ebon Legion is a bummer. It gets underneath us really, really well. So we're going to be looking for a Shatter the Sky. Hopefully he bricks on lands. 2 Knights of the Ebon Legion. That's pretty smelly for us. So he's gone more into an aggro build. We know to take a Plains for our Shatter, that means. Let's let Billy play. Ideally, we go counter. But I think the only reason we would bounce it is if he buffs it. And then we can just easily deal with that, right? Just take 1 damage. Neither of them click up. We're lucky enough to get a land. That's awesome. And I'm going to play the aggressor now. Bounce this other knight, looking for our Shatter. Absorbs are fine. Hunted Nightmare, nice.
I'll protect you.
I'm gonna borrow bounce it plus Omen. I guess Omen first, maybe. We basically need to do that because if we don't, we'll die next turn to Obosh. It's just gonna put out so much damage. So let's see what we get before he goes to his attack phase. Let's toss those. Let's toss that back up. Hopefully he doesn't have a land to play. Don't you dare. No, he's killing our Teferi. And then we pull our Shatter. Come on, we had him. So we've got really no aggressive play for 2, so this can come in tapped. Not looking to lose any life against an Obosh deck. Pass our turn. The biggest threat here is this Knight of the Ebon Legion. I'm hoping he plays like his creatures, right? He tries to go wide. This is fine. Honestly, I wouldn't mind just a Chemist's Insight. That's actually perfect. Because now we can Insight and then Shatter later. Perfect. Absolutely wonderful. Let's take our draw here. We get my favorite card. Let's go ahead and clean up the field. We're gonna pay life for this, believe it or not. Either veto or our borrower bounce. We have the absorbs ready after this, so we just need to survive whatever's happening here. It's not a good card, but what else are we gonna do? Right, it keeps our ECDs active. We could borrower bounce with an absorb here. We could also Chemist's Insight. Classic. We even have enough for a secondary absorb, in all honesty. Not worried about this. I'd rather flash in a borrower. Please and thank you. Let's get our Narset out there. Shut off his draw.
Every day, no one is more prepared to hone your prowess.
Take our Shark Typhoon. And end our turn. I think we sealed this one up. This was a Dimir Obosh or Mono Black Obosh. I don't know what the blue was for even. Oh, Ashiok, I see. GG's. RIP's. EZ's. This hand is garbage. Only one land and... Okay. I was like, wait, did it auto keep that hand for us? I mean, Umori the Collector sucks. But I don't want to make this any worse than it already is. You feel? Looking for shatters and exiles, especially for... Oh, Umori the Collector. This is a mutation. I was thinking Luris, the Torturer. Right? The Undying. Oh, goodness gracious. Into the old Paradise Druid. Perfect. So, we definitely need shatters. Right? We need non-targeted field wipe. Which equals 2 planes, please. There we go. I choose you. Oh. Doesn't really matter. We have way too many planes now. I didn't expect to draw a second Arden Veil off the top. This is not a deck we're going to be able to make use out of it. Maybe it's chump blockers if he doesn't score trample. Umori's in the house. We're going to bounce it. Right. We have to hold a counter spell for Hysterics. That's what's going to be key here.
Stand by and watch. Don't worry, I got this.
That's nice. Our single trawler, and we pull it. We need to keep reach away from him. We need to keep... Actually, he can have Salt Eye colors. Because we have hexproof, right? The bummer is we're so far behind on land. Our Ardenvale takes 5, so that's out of reach as well. We could cycle our Shark Typhoon. But I don't know. Maybe we just lose to Teferi, right? He can cast something for 1 mana, but he has to tap his Druid to do it. Maybe this is the hold up here.
Oh, I've done the hero thing before.
Putting Umori back to his hand one more time. Just kind of like stuttering him or stifling him, right? Just pushing him back. A reverse tempo. So this is fine. I'm just going to block this, right? I don't mind it. Oh, he gets trample is the thing. I see. And it destroys our enchantments. So Teferi dies. Artifact, not enchantment, but same thing basically. We're not going to cycle our Shark Typhoon. Even though we may as well, because whenever he mutates, he's going to destroy it. We need a counterspell for Sterix, right? Baby Godzilla. We're pushing it back just so he doesn't play Sterix on a Paradise Druid. It could be right there. And we are not equipped to handle it yet. It's sad. Right? He's gonna get a nice hard hit here. Personally, I would have played Umori first, right? Made this cheaper. Right? If you played Umori first, you could have done it all, I think. It happens. Looking for a shatter. 66 cards left. Did I miss it here? 5%. So he could have actually played his Paradise Druid as well if he played his Umori first. Hopefully we can pull an ECD on this Gem Razor here, right? What's it on? His Symbiote. I say we fight fire with fire. Lego. If we can't pull a shatter, let's play our Dream Trawler. We can't just try to pull it, 5% chance. It's gonna take us 20 turns. And there's the Sterix. Lovely. We should have bounced it. But then he would have just done it on Uzumori. He would have got one less mutate. Hopefully it's just land, right? It doesn't have hexproof, so we're gonna bounce it. Both lands, that's great. Right, maybe he plays all of his creatures. Nice. Parcel Beast, such a cheap mutate. Ouch. So let's get really lucky here and pull a shatter, I guess, because he's gonna go pretty wide, I think. 3 permanents, Sterix, Druid land. I wouldn't mind wiping it. I would wipe it. Or an ECD. ECD or wipe. That would be ideal. Worst case, we bounce it, right? But we're just giving him more mutate targets, so that might not be good. Probably bounce it once he tries to target it with his next draw. That's his only creature with reach. That's a misplay. There's our shatter, baby. Grab our life. Wreck this man's whole career. And we can now flash in a Brazen Borrower on his turn. Shark Typhoon becomes a more viable option because Gem Razor's not on the field now. Plenty of lands. Baby Godzilla. I guess he's gonna cycle a card. But if he plays a mutate and draws a card that immediately goes to the grave, he doesn't really get to choose. So that's kind of less than ideal. Might be better off to hold his mana for Castle Vantress Scry. Here's our Borrower. That should just set tempo on him if he doesn't deal with it. I don't think he's too pleased with us. Let's take the Scry. That's always pretty powerful. He takes his Scry. Let's toss that. Get our combat in. This game's wrapped up. So now it just comes out as the creature. It doesn't get to pull a permanent. Let's get second borrower out. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's flash a Shark Typhoon in for the block. As far as he knows, we could double block with our borrowers as well, so... Unless he gets some really nice mutates, he's in a bad position. He is enough to pay for our Mystical Dispute. Okay, so Parcel Beast is good. It's fine though, right? We're gonna kill it when it attacks. If it attacks. If it doesn't, I think we should maybe go for it. It's just a Great Horn, I think. Could be worse, right? I say if he doesn't attack, we definitely go Shark Typhoon. Cycle, right? I don't think he's gonna attack. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. Yikes. I mean, that is what we wanted him to do. I didn't think he was going to do it, though. Like little drummer boy. Rup-a-bum-bum. We'll get him. If he's still here. I mean, if he control deleted, we just won... Okay. I was going to say 2 matches for the price of 1, which is always nice. We get rid of his nice mutate target. That's awesome. He's top decking. And we have really all of the ammunition we need. Right? We have 13 in the air. That's going to be enough. How do we sideboard against Simic Mutate? That's going to be the question. I'm thinking Aether Gusts are great, right? Right, let's just play more control. He's probably going to play more Gem Races for our Shark Typhoon. But as long as we can get those shatters, we're going to be okay. Drumming's free. If you guys are looking to support my YouTube channel and my content creation career in general, you can do so by joining our YouTube memberships. There's a join button in or underneath of the video, I believe. And then we're live on Twitch every single day. You can join us free with Twitch Prime. That's pretty cool. Easy, free way to support. And we also have the Patreon if you're interested in getting some goodies for your money, right? A little bit of value, other than just helping support, right? So that's cool if you're looking to get some material product or some special treatment there, right? And if you feel like doing none of those things, you can always just play my videos in the background. Maybe while you sleep, open up one of my playlists. You know they're riddled with ads. But until we get bigger and can convert at a more efficient rate, this is what it is. I mean, ideally, eventually, there's no ads in any of my content for you guys, but I do need to eat, because that's how all this works. So, our opponent's done his sideboarding, I think. Let's see how we make out. He's obviously going to choose to play first. There's no Shatter. The land is good. Do we throw away good land just to look for Shatter the Sky? I don't think so. Yeah, we do. Maybe we can capitalize off of our trawler. I don't know. I was looking for more early game interruption like our Brazen Borrowers. I'd rather the absorbs, though, in this hand, I think. And didn't... Oh, I should have tossed the planes. That's fine, though. You know me. It's like I'm hiding Yorion from my opponent, too. They don't get to see it. So this is the play that sucks. Right? The only way it would have worked is with that Mystical Dispute and him not dropping Umori. But you know he's dropping Umori right now. It's just, it is what it is. Really? This is good for us because he can't attack with the Druid. So if we can just play the counter game from here on out. Oh, we need a secondary plains islands. No! No! And he goes in with it. This is nice. That's a 2-for-1, right? We're tossing his Great Horn and his Druid to the top of his library or the bottom. Giving us another turn. Let's go Shatter. Where's our Shatter? Parcel Beast. That's fine. Wow, we suck. This land base is brutal for this deck. We need double island for every play here, except for Yorion. Just because on my mulligan I accidentally tossed my Fable Passage. I don't know what I was thinking. Absolutely brutal. He's going right for it. Alright, he gets the Great Horn. So we definitely want to Shatter. This has no hexproof. Okay. Saved by these gusts. If only we had the land to ride out these absorbs. I'm hoping a mutate onto his Ghidorah, and then we can bounce it while the mutate goes. Then we pull either Shatter or an island, and we either Shatter and go from there, or we just ride the absorb wave. Alrighty. Let's do it. Get out of here, boy. Obviously, the Ghidorah is probably going to go to the top of his library. Playing Zumori. Let's go Shatter. Right? We got him down to 1 card. So even with that massive misplay, we're still somehow almost holding it together. Ouch, that is not pleasant. Oh my gosh. Why you do this? That was lucky. We still 100% need to top deck an island. Never been praying so hard for an island in my life. Parcel Beast in play. There it is. The life will really help because he can only attack for 2, and he probably just wants to tap it to draw or play. Right? Especially with such a low hand. So he might not even attack us. Yeah, he's doing it right now too, even. I would do that defensively, but... My favorite card, ECD. Takes his mutate target. Yeah, baby. He has 7 land, that's the problem. If he mutates Godzilla, we're in trouble. Right? Because now Godzilla drops the cost, so he could Sterix. Yeah, nice. Hopefully just pulls a land. Ooh. Ooh. Let's look for another shatter.
Those who cannot perceive beyond the veil of light, I have just the trick for this.
The only way he'll beat us if he mutates a Sterix onto the octopus. If he can push that octopus to 5, he'll beat us. I never thought of that. I never thought of that. If we had another island, we could play our borrower. We make tons of mistakes on the channel, though, you guys. I like to always say, if you're not failing, you're not learning. You can fail and not lose and learn. If you lose, you're definitely learning, though. 100%. There's no way to lose and not learn. God damn it! So that was a misplay on our behalf. We were too greedy. Let's beat him in the 3rd game. We know we can do it. I'm not changing anything. I think these vetoes can even go. Right? It's a creature deck. Alright, no mistakes. We need 2 islands, and we need 2 planes, you guys. LOL. We're playing first. Doesn't look that bad. I say we take it. Castle Vantress is nice. Having the glass casket could be good off the start, right? Especially if he doesn't pull his druid. Maybe he goes in with a baby Godzilla or a symbiote Poliwag. Or Poliwag symbiote, I think. The other way around. Looking for a plains. And then a shatter. Play our Omen here. Hopefully we draw a counterspell with our Omen. Hopefully no Druid here. It hits. Just looking for shatter. Passing our turn. Let's sack this to scry 2. If he taps his druid, we put the casket on it. Okay, but is he gonna bounce it? Or attack with it? I'm fine with that. That's 4 mana. That is not nice. That's for sure. Stacking islands. We have plenty of planes in our hand. Let's pass. Probably sacking our Omen, right? We have our trawler ready. So that's a dead mutate. He's just stacking it. Let's kill our Omen. Take our Shatter and just get rid of it. I don't think there's really any need to wait, is there? Or we do wait because he's not done anything. Right, he still has too many cards in his hand for us to make a sway of it. He doesn't take the Sea Dasher on it. Play Zumori. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's castle. Looking for more shatters. It sucks, I know, I'm sorry. I just want to get a Morio to there right away. Right, just letting him go. For all he knows, we have counterspells. He's seen them, right? He knows we've got them. Gets Baby Godzilla, that's really good. That's shitty. We should have used our castle for the scry. Looking for more shatters. We're gonna Chemist's Insight a land away. I really thought he was going to mutate on to the Ghidorah. Interesting that he didn't. Close. So we're going to block here. We can only block the flyer. And it has trample. So we're getting hit for 5, 6, 7 damage here. It's not nice. And he gets to draw, and he'll draw from our shatter, which is less than ideal. Luckily enough, we can shatter and hold up our Aether Gust. Plus we have a borrower, so a lot of survivability. And we just really need to get this Dream Trawler out. Mystical Dispute helps as well. One, two, three, four, five. Let's let her go. Five land. We're gonna use our Omen. We can still dispute, we can still Aether Gust. This is really good. Right, we get that Shatter out, and then we transfer control over to ourselves. Admittedly, we could have been using our castle instead of sacrificing our Omens and then bouncing our Omens with our Yorion. That's more value, but this was good enough. Woohoo! All right, you guys, final thoughts are going to be short and sweet because I know I rambled in the beginning. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you're notified of our future uploads. We're live on Twitch every single morning, 6 a.m. PST, daily YouTube uploads, and then we have the Patreon as well. Most importantly, join our Discord so you get involved with our community. We have all skill levels from beginners to experts. We have over 1,000 members now and tons of community competitions and giveaways that you really should involve yourself with. So thank you all for your continued time and attention. Have a great day. Do take care, and we'll see you same time, same place tomorrow.